called the Black Herald. There are blaws in life that powerful, I dinna ken. Blaws that seem for God, for nens their poost. The aftercast of all suffering is sunk into our souls, I dinna ken. They're ween, but they are dark, gaping trenches in the hardest face and the stoutest back. Aiblins, they are the couts, the barbers, the artillery, are the black heralds that come to us for death. They are the deep faws of the Christs and souls, the loveliest faiths that destiny blasphemed. Those bloody blaws are the sin of Graceland, the breed and the oven door that burns. And poor man, he turns his e'en, hearing his name called out, receives a clure, and Willie Clever watches as all he's lived is thrown into the puddly gill beneath the well. There are blaws in life that powerful, I dinna ken. Thanks. This next one's called Ours. A clacking, a train rests on the plat. In every puddle sleeps voiceless stars, and the water trembles like curtains on the wind. Nicht hens in the groves. If you bell tour blossoms, the smurry dewdrops bleeds the stars. In the edge of autumn, the hours of ripeness fall on life. This one's called Hoflicht. I had dreamt of licht. I had dreamt of your size, skater in the chamber. A line up here, a mirror. 15 years in nurture, lure. I had dreamt of licht. For I and I, sicht at the stairs of the bow. I had dreamt of a mirror, a ripe bus of strathing, and wedding bras nap of star. A line up here, a line of house is drowning. This is my last one. It's called The Socrates Gift of the Leaves. Moon, croon on a gauzy heat, skifting like leaves your yellow lean. Reed croon of the thorn of Jesus with inks of the tragical sweetness of eminence. Moon, ye heavenly, reed with heart. How are ye drifting within the glass, full of blue wine, aft to the west, that painful and defeated stern? Moon, and yours is strength to fly in vain, your skater bubbles, a holocaust. My own gypsy heart, mecht will be, wandering and crying verses in the blue. Thanks very much for your patience. I'd like to introduce next Dorothy Alexander.
Hi everybody. I'm going to read you some very short pieces, you'll be glad to hear. And they are based on recorded memoirs from Scottish Borders Council's Memory Bank. Yes, they come out of an ongoing project of mine which is based on oral narrative tradition, and which they function for me as the starting point for experiments in found poetry. And they're all just 50 words long. Apparently, 50 is the maximum number of words that we as humans can memorise without recourse to the written word. So that's the reason that they're the way they are. I was delighted to discover that the Mac in Mac Arts refers to Duncan McKinnon, the legendary Galashiels music promoter of the 1960s, because there are quite a few stories about him in the archive. So these Borders micro-narratives, as I call them, that I'm going to read today are from the memoirs of Peter Duffy, Mike Bryden of Bryden's Dairies, Betsy Drummond, Willie Brown, Tom Forrest and Mark Fairbairn. Dunk McKinnon had the knack of booking bands just afore they were famous. The Beatles were touring in the early days, and what with travelling and living out a van, they were guy scruffy. Dunk chased them at the Gallipoli. They weren't getting on his stage looking like that. Our band was aye the support at Dunk's venues. We had some carries on. There was the night we had to lift The Who onto the stage in Carlisle for somebody had pinched the steps. And another night we lent Sandy Shaw all our equipment because she'd had a crash. And they lost Dunky in time. Had to leave without him. They found him in the middle of the one big roundabout outside Carlisle. Out for the count we drink, and all the door money in his hand. So for a laugh, they hid it in the van afore they bundled him in. And the next few might give those of you who are familiar with Brian's Dairies a little nostalgia. Near every hotel in the town got milk for us, and some of them were Guy So-So. He'd gone round the back and they'd be peeling enough tatties to last a fortnight. The tatties would sit all that time in cracked enamel buckets with the water evaporating, gone black on the top. There was a restaurant in the town that my auntie worked in. She swears that day they gave her a basin to wash the stairs and later on used the same yin to make the trifle. And there was many a place I just wouldn't have gone near in they days. I hated folk putting their money into the bottles. The bottoms would be full of greasy, milky, cheesy water that soaked my mittens, and they only got washed about once a fortnight. I poured it out onto their doorstep, and if they didn't like the greasy milk, well, they wouldn't do it again. And we collected the milk money on a Saturday morning. We carried it in leather bags made by Jimison the saddler. You got to ken the Hale tune, so that when somebody mentioned a name, he'd gone, "Oh aye, up the back at Magdala, money under a floor pot, pits out dirty bottles." And I had an old Morris 10 van that had been my father's, Old Nelly we'll call it, bull-nosed kind of thing. But at the end it was costing us too much, and I wanted to get married, so I sold it to buy an engagement ring. My younger brothers were horrified. So we're going to go a little bit further afield now. In the winter, Hall's chip came frae Galley, down through Newtown to Bozels, every Saturday night, whatever the weather. It was a muckle heavy thing too, real coal fire, all they tatties, and a big iron pot. The pair horse must have been guy tired by the time it got hame. Tate's horses strained to pull muckle cartloads of gravel out the Tweed. The water draining out fairly shushed and sparkled. There'd be a trail all the way back to Bozels. And later on he'd bring the horses back for a swim. And often as no, he'd be in aside them. Eyemouth folk were right superstitious. He'd only mention pigs, salmon or rabbits. Meeting a minister or a priest, gieing anybody anything out your house on a Sunday, hairy women and goldfish were all unlucky. And I had to go out a different door for the inn to come in. The washing took all day, scrubbed and bleached in water for the shore well. It was rosered on a big yellow stain on the beach, or hung out on hedges up the loaning, and watched in case it blew away or the coos had a bit chow at it. I like it the skill. The teachers were all awfully nice till I got in with Miss Ann Kerr. She was fair handy with the taws and the ruler. It was in her class that I learned to pray. I prayed every night that she'd be dead in the morning. With some smashing concerts in the 80s. I was only ever in the skill choir, but I made sure I was up the back. For if you were down the front, you came away looking like a leopard with all the chewing gum folk had stuck to your head. Hoyk Cycling Club were up our Bod's Beck when they found a bird catched by its leg on a brig. Rob Lyle dangled Margaret Hall upside down over the side to release it. But hell, did her money no fall out, and they all ended up in the burn fetching it. So we'll just finish up in Gala. In hard winters, the snow was piled up off the roads and pavements into the gutters, where it froze solid for weeks on end. We'd run along it like it was a miniature mountain range. Only that never melted, got shovelled up and into the galley, where it sailed away. Thank you.